Religious liberty, I think, is almost public enemy number one for a great many segments of our society. And that's tragic because this country was founded on the premise that people should enjoy the fullest degree of religious liberty.
Where we are today in America compared to our founding in terms of religious freedom it's not quite night and day, but it's getting there. And by that I mean increasingly people aren't allowed to live out their faith. It's basically, that's what you do in your private life, but once you come out to the public square, we don't want you to talk about that, and we certainly don't want you to act on it.
There's no question that the assault against religious liberty right now is at historic proportions.
People do not shed their First Amendment religious freedom rights simply because they attend a public school, because they work for the government, or in this case, because they're living in a veterans home.
An example of the assault on religious liberty in our time centers around 84-year-old Artis of California, who is in trouble with her veterans nursing home. She may even face eviction. Why? For leading Bible studies voluntarily with other residents.
Well, I have a passion, I guess, to share with those who don't know the Lord because somebody loved me enough to share with me.
She's a woman who is 84 years old, and she is a veteran. She was working for the Army Pentagon during the Korean War. Her husband fought in both World War II and the Korean War. He's passed away, but she is living in a California veterans home, and she was also a chaplain. She loves Jesus. She was a Messianic Jew, if you will. She's a Christian convert from Judaism. She loves the Lord. She was doing a Bible study as a chaplain. Everything was going great, committed, running the race to the end, until the government got involved. See, someone complained that they didn't agree with her. He claimed emotional abuse, elder abuse from her.
It says God has given us eternal life.
The California Department of Veterans Affairs, CalVet, received a complaint from a male resident who attended one of Artis's Bible studies at the Veterans Home of California, north of San Francisco.
Because in their discussion, he didn't like what she said about eternal life and how to get to heaven and not going to heaven. And so he complained, and because of that complaint, she was removed as a chaplain. But it gets worse. She continued having a voluntary Bible study with people there in the home who wanted to study the Bible. They served our country. They wanted to study the Bible with her. And she was told that she had to stop the Bible study or she would be booted out of the home in the streets.
I do believe that God is going to be just.
That's hard to believe.
Well,
she's a wonderful, loving person who can't help but share the hope of Christ with those who would like to share with her and to study the Word with her. They're violating the constitutional rights of this wonderful veteran.
Artis complied with the CalVet's mandate that she cease and desist leading the Bible studies lest she be evicted. And so her Bible study was stopped for 2 months. And then the Pacific Justice Institute was able to get permission for the Bible studies to resume.
Now, some people think that because it's a government veterans nursing home, that anything the government touches must be anti-religious, must sterilize that ugly bacteria called faith from the public square, from anything the government is involved in. And that's not true at all.
This case is ironic in many ways, not the least of which is that here is a veteran of many years, having served and sacrificed for our country to keep us free. And she's the widow of a veteran who's also distinguished himself in service to our country. And now, in the twilight of her years, she faces eviction for leading Bible studies in a nation founded for the purpose of religious freedom.
She can't take care of herself. She's been living a life of sacrifice, her and her husband. And the idea and the thought that someone who sacrificed so much for our freedom and liberty could have theirs so easily taken from them by the government is appalling. And so we have been representing her in this matter.